Hello, hello! Welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. Well, that was a fun time, wasn't it? Yeah. We wade back to the shore together, hoping that the cleansing would lead to good fortune in our search. Of course, that was when we realized neither of us thought to bring a towel. How do you forget that? Ah, shit! I almost forgot. What? It's September 7th. Shit, you're right. I've been drifting so long, I barely remembered which days are holidays anymore. That means some spots around town are going to be closed. Just something to keep in mind. You know, I kind of thought that was, like, that was the last day, but I guess, okay, was his salt? No, okay. So we've now done, oh, we never went to the archaeology site. Town Plaza. They said shit about the estate. Interesting. Man, I don't know what to pick. And the bus stop is still open, like, for exploring. The pond, though. But now I really don't know how many days are left. Like, do I try to go for new leads? Do I try to go back to... It's interesting. It really is. Boggles my mind. Pond. I do want to see what's happening at the pond, but... The Colonel's estate was the only place in the hinterlands with any decent greenery. A big, for the area, sort of walled-off farm with a mansion squarely in the middle. We went there and announced ourselves to the porter. There isn't much left to do here. Let's leave before something else regrettable happens. Oh, okay. Interesting. Millions of years ago, this piece of the continent was covered by the sea. What we know today as the hinterlands was a cavity where deep sea life made its home. When the sea receded, this gash remained, a hole where saltwater pooled and grew stale, being reduced over the generations. The result is a valley below sea level, whose soil is unfit to farm a single crop. People only settled here to raise cattle. A bloated, sickly breed from all the salt mixed in with their rations. And deeper still, at the lowest point, where all sorts of defilement makes its home, this pond, or rather, a pool of sludge so thick the saltas can actually harbor the most extramophilic bacteria. About 10 minutes later, we arrive at the lowest point in all the hinterlands, the pond. When it rains, all the water around flows down, bringing it with bringing with it all the trash, dirt, and death it came across on the way down. The waters were dark, but the surface was covered with a shimmering film, almost as if some kind of detergent had been spilled onto it. From afar, the pond smelled almost like a desecration lab. Dissection. Yes. Ooh. It had that lingering aroma of dead things and formaldehyde. Formaldehyde. Yes. Without any real trace of blood or rot. Up close, however, it reminds me of the times I came across water heavily contaminated by E. coli. That distinct foamy smell of shit. Floaty smell of shit. Suffice to say, the entire area smelled like a morgue. While I gave the place a glance, Storm sat down by the shore. He was watching his reflection float on the greasy water. Up further ahead was a tiny path. I almost missed it in the dried brush, but the three mismatched flip-flops. Three mismatched flip-flops, yes, strewn around, and nearly made me pay more attention. Something on your mind. This place is evil. No shit. It's all, pestilence and contamination. I almost drowned here once. You swam here? Not by choice. I was pushed in. Shit. Wait. Were some fucked up kids playing a prank on you or something? No, it... Yeah. Just some bullies trying to play a prank on me. Poor kid. I gave him a pat on the back. He flinched a little, not expecting it. As stated, poor kid. The salt got in my eyes, and it took me 2 weeks to start seeing right again. But I swear I saw something the size of a person swimming down there. I think there might be some sort of fish living in this pond. No way. The contamination of salt makes it impossible for anything but bacteria to live here. You must have been seeing things, or there was something supernatural to it. Your hotel ain't here, boss. This place is evil and dangerous. He didn't say it out loud, but I caught the plea to return home in his voice, a whimper underneath the gruffness. I gave the place another glance, searching for anything of value in that cesspool. The only noteworthy detail was a little alcove in the rock wall that contained the pond. Hard to say for sure, but it almost looked like a little cave one could walk into. Storm caught my eye and spoke up before I could ask any questions. Ain't nothing there. It's just a little cave that goes a few meters in. Whole place is covered in salt from floor to ceiling. Nothing more. Is that so? Unruly cunt could be keeping you from your birthright if you... No. He knows the place better than you do. And fuck. Just take a look around. Who the hell could live here? What a peculiar shithole. Salt's supposed to cleanse evil, but I've not felt a presence as terrifying as the one here anywhere else in the hinterlands. The salt's lost, the land's salt lost its, savor or something. It's all rotten. Well, the salt they mine here really doesn't taste like anything. That's the whole point. They sell it to some kind of special, some kind of a special thing for old people with, high blood pressure or some shit. Perhaps it was some kind of folk remedy in the area, or maybe just local snake oil. Regardless, it was odd. I got up and extended my hand to Storm. Let's go. Before something, reaches out from the water and grabs our feet or something. The streetlights were, swarmed by, clouds of bugs, all driven wild by, breeding season. Their shadows, speckle and crawl on every surface, like, stitched together centipedes. I looked down and imagined I could see them skittering over my and Storm's chest. Even if they aren't actually there, I could almost feel each pinprickle leg digging into my feathers and skin. Feels like they're crawling all over me. Do you feel it too? Yeah, but I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me anymore, except when they get around my ears. Up ahead was Drowned Tapir's greatest hideout spot. Zeze's bar, which could only be described as a set of 3 canvas tents on the medium of the street. It had about a dozen plastic tables and chairs scattered around, all colored and branded with an assortment of beer logos. The counter was just 3 stacked wooden boxes covered by a length of canvas recycled from a truck's covering. Music, tinny, half static, played from a parked sound truck. Some of the patrons milling about while others danced, and all the tables were taken. Storm seemed a bit unfamiliar with what one even does at a bar. I elbowed his arm and motioned him to follow me. He and I took our seats by the counter and the wobbly wooden stools, and then it all fit in like clockwork. Time became perfect. All of a sudden, the coolness of the night was noticeable. The dull roar of folks talking, mingling with the garbled radio into a warm sea of even sound. The music seeped down my back and undid every vile knot, riddling it. Riddling it. I breathed out, pressed my shoes onto the beaten dirt. Oh, hello. And looked up to to find a brick wall of an old man looking down on us. He smelled of stale beer and bitter sweat. The cup he was holding was tiny, almost toy-like in the monstrously big hands. His nostrils shook with every slow, pondering wheeze, and with every step came the sound of cracking knees. A sweat dripped from his forehead onto the counter, and he wiped it up with the same stained rag he used to polish the glass. That was, I don't know how you pronounce this, guys. ZZ himself, proprietor of that fine establishment. Before I'd even noticed, he had already taken our order. He ducked behind the counter, pulling out a tall bottle of cheap watery beer, and cracked it open with a movement too smooth and perfect to be rehearsed. He poured my drink into an ancient, scratched Pyrex cup, the same kind the inn used to serve coffee, and no doubt used here for the same purpose as well. Vertical grooves going from the bottom up 10 or so centimeters, with a thin horizontal rim at the top, perfect for the most cost-effective mass production. Made without a single care for soul, aesthetic, or marketability. Zizi poured Storm's drink into a mismatched cup, then got us a portion of fries. The kid and I shared a silent toast, already feeling how cold the beer was. It was perfect. Your grandpa used to come here a lot. And I'm told you're the reason he got, What is this word? Wait. Give me one moment. No, what? No. Chrome, don't crash on me. Oh my god. Okay. Sirrhos. Yes. Cirrhosis. Okay. A chronic disease of the liver marked by degeneration of cells, inflammation, and fibrous thickening of tissue. It is typically a result of alcoholism. Okay. Nice to know. Cirrhosis. Surprised you remember him at all, though. I have good memory. As for the cirrhosis, if it wasn't me, it'd be someone else. At least, I watered his drinks down. That ought to be worth something. And not that it mattered much in the end. Storm tried to follow the conversation as the proprietor and I talked, keeping his ears vaguely aimed in my direction. Once the buzz started hitting him though, his eyes and attention began to wander. I glanced over and found him looking a bit satisfied with himself for finally sitting at this counter, just another unremarkable face in the crowd. So, you working for the Colonel's widow now? No, sir. I don't want to get involved in any of that business. Not exactly looking for a job here. Word's been around that you've been in town. And with all the mess going on over there, I was betting you'd get involved. Just like your Gramps. No, sir. Then what brings you down to down Tapir P? I'm just here on some inheritance business of my own. Is all. Your Gramps left an inheritance. What did he even have to pass on? If my time here has been any indication, grief and debt, and nothing more. Though, I did reconnect with a cousin of mine on my way here. He raises an eyebrow, giving Storm a dubious look. Cousin? Now that's a good one. Someone got some horns growing in that family tree of yours. My eyes, stayed locked onto him over the rim of my cup as I, took a slow sip. I racked my brain for everything I've heard about ZZ, either from, Grandpa himself or my dad. If they had ever told me he was like us, a mythical, I didn't have any recollection of it. I suppose you're right. Okay. Storm here, does look a bit different from me, assuming you got a keen eye. That I do. Or so I like to think. I continued looking at him, staring at his face, trying to notice any tickle at the back of my mind, or strange fuzziness in my vision. Even the best made charms aren't completely perfect. If you know what to look for, there's always some kind of tell, some way to make it malfunction. Keener than mine, it would seem. Considering you knew my dear old Gramps, would you happen to know anything about his search for a certain hospitable establishment? He laughed in perfect intervals. The humorless sound of it tightened the knots in my back right up again. No, you bet I do. I spent a dozen years telling your Gramps all about it, but he never listened. Now's my chance to save you from his madness. It's not madness. Give up. Go home. Stop chasing a madman's dream. I can't go back home. Wasn't it enough for you, for one of your relatives to waste his life on this lie?
You're young. You have a good future ahead of you, if you play your cards right.
What else am I...
And even if you don't, that's better than dying alone and hated like your gramps.
How can I...
Whatever your reason for coming here, to look for that hotel, let it go. Stop searching for a magical fix for your issues, and solve them yourself.
That bastard ZZ finished his speech and started cleaning glasses again. I just nursed my drink. The kid looked over and gave me a concerned frown. I must have looked like I'd just been shot.
P, you doing all right?
Yeah, just thinking is all.
Hey, lad. That girl over there has been eyeing you for a while now.
The kid grunted, eyes wide, and I half expected to see the fur on the back of his head and neck stand up. It was like all the confusion as to how to act in a bar had suddenly returned.
Which one, sir? Over there, dancing. Blonde hair with the roots showing.
Storm tried to straighten his hair and, for once in his life, be subtle as he attempted to look over nonchalantly without fully looking. Hey, go on and live a little, fun, Storm. Dance with her. I'll even give you some cash to buy her a drink. His ears went fully red as he looked away from me, which forced him to finally make eye contact with the girl. Storm gave her the most timid wave you could see from a man in the hinterlands, and she beckoned him over. The kid threw his drink down, looking at me, steeled his nerves, and went to chat with her. Z and I couldn't hear him, but we could see him speaking with clipped and haltered awkwardness. He seemed more charmed. He seemed quite charmed, however, giggling and moving to entice. I downed my cup. Storm shot his head and shrugged his shoulders. She gave him a cartoonish pout and asked something. Storm shrugged again, as drunk women won't to do. She gave him a hug before waving down another young woman at a table and tottering off. Storm strolled back over.
Lad, what the hell was that?
You didn't want to dance?
Nah, told her I was real flattered, but I'm here on business. Right, boss?
Yeah, I guess so.
P, is something wrong?
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Z make himself busy at the other end of the counter. Bastard didn't even offer me another drink. Storm, I know I'm not crazy. I know my grandpa wasn't lying, and I know that place exists because I've seen it. I'm having visions of it at night, just like Gramps used to have. It's everything he described, down to the last detail. But we've spent a whole week digging around this shithole, and we're no closer to finding it, and I have no idea where to go from here. What the hell do we even have to show for it?
What are you smoking, you daft cunt? We laid the, spirits of 12 dead to rest, and, ended the, Hellhole's curse by restoring a fucking god. Sure, we didn't find the hotel you're looking for, but you and me been working miracles around here. I know you ain't finding the leads you were hoping to find, but you're doing good. You're helping this place more'n I think anyone has. Hell, you've been helping me more than anyone has, boss. You ain't failing nobody, but I bet your Gramps be goddamn proud.
I gotta stop bearing my soul to this son of a bitch. If he's gonna keep saying the exact right thing to get me welling up. The big oaf Z just let out a huff and shook his head while putting away glasses. Fuck, don't lose it where every goddamn one can see you. It's fine. Fuck Z and every goddamn one else. Thanks. Thank you, Storm, for putting up with my shit. He laughed and gave me a pat on the back that nearly knocked me off my stool.
It's why you're paying me, ain't it? Plus, we got a whole nother week to go before you have to get back to the city, right? I'm sure we can find something about the hotel with all that time.
Assuming it exists in the first place.
You said it yourself. You know it's out there, because you saw it.
Hey Z, get me another beer and make it colder than death. Oh, okay. I think I'll end the part here, so I'll see you around, everyone.